If I could only pack 10 travel items, it would be these, according to Aly Smalls. Hey guys, it's Erica from America, your favorite flight attendant, and today is Travel Tuesday, where I react to a travel guru and then add a flight attendant's perspective. And today I'm reacting to one of my favorites, Aly Smalls, great travel guru. Her channel's just not big enough. And she is actually talking about the 10 travel items that she has to travel with. And I gotta tell you, may not necessarily be the same thing a flight attendant would have to travel with. And I just want to say before I do that, guys, sorry that I have not posted for a while. I wanted to, but I literally did not know where my computer was. I have officially moved out of my old house and everything went down like a whirlwind, was absolutely crazy. And my computer, which should have been set aside, got stashed into the garage, which I will tell you about later if you're interested at the end of the video. I literally could not figure out how to do my setup. As you can see right now, this isn't an official setup. I am sitting on the floor of an Airbnb somewhere in the Chicagoland area, and my butt hurts. So I'm going to end that here and say, let's just jump into Aly Smalls' video. I will tell you guys who the winners are of the giveaway that I was not able to announce in that Sunday Q&A. I'm going to tell you at the end of this video. If you want, hang out to the end to find out who the winners of the giveaways are, and the Gimme Prize, and the Honorable Mention Prize. And let's get into what are the products that Aly Smalls can't live without when she travels. And same for me. I'm reacting to Aly Smalls again because I really like her. I think she is probably one of the better travel gurus out there, and I feel like if you're not following her, you probably should be. She's great for advice, and I have reacted to her before. But just as a recap, in case you've never seen her before or you haven't seen those other videos, she does real-world test advice on packing light, flying carry-on only, and creating unique travel guides and itineraries. She specializes in little-known travel hacks, top carry-on bag reviews, and hidden gems in popular destinations. And her aim is to be a trusted resource for efficient, stress-free travel and memorable adventures. And you can see her links here as you scroll down. You can see she joined in 2014, and I think she's probably like me. She probably opened the YouTube account a long time ago to watch things and then just one day started posting. Whenever I search for something that has to do with travel issues, mostly her videos pop up because she does such unique topics. So if you're not following her, you should be. I will link to the video that we're going to watch today at the end. But I mean, look at some of these titles that she has in here. New carry-on rules. Here's the truth in a free hack airlines won't tell you. 17 important travel hacks you might be overlooking. 13 things you should never do while traveling. How to spend 2 to 3 weeks in Japan. She does reviews on bags a lot of times. I reacted to this video before, and without a doubt, that has been my most popular reaction video. Again, her advice is different than my advice because she is probably living longer out of her bag than I am, whereas I'm living out of my bag day to day, half the month. I pretty much consistently have the same things in my bag all the time. She would be packing for each trip individually and going back and forth, and more likely doing international travel and living out of her bag. Kind of like I'm living in this Airbnb now. It's a very different travel experience than when I'm actually in a hotel on the road, especially because this Airbnb doesn't have nearly even close to the number of things that I would normally need to make a successful video. There's like no desk, no chairs, as you can tell. And I basically brought in stuff from storage to try to record these videos. So different travel experiences based on different needs. And the video that we're watching today is basically, if I could only pack 10 travel items, it would be these. No gimmicks, actually useful. Now, I don't know about you. I definitely want to know what her must-haves are, especially because I have a feeling she does more international traveling than I might do. So let's go ahead and watch this.
In this video, I'm sharing my tried and true travel products and accessories because I was recently thinking if I had to completely start over, what would my core list look like? As in, what if all of my travel gear disappeared overnight? Or maybe I just hadn't traveled in years and wanted to rebuild my list from scratch. So if I could only rebuy 10 travel must-haves, these ones make the cut. First up are these reusable liquids pouches. I know they're not the most exciting travel product, but honestly, they are a game changer. I talk about these a lot because I've used them on every trip since I discovered them. And here's why I love them over the silicone travel bottles. They only take up as much space as you fill them. As you use up the product, they shrink down, unlike bottles that hog the same amount of space whether they're full or empty. This means you can pack more variety: shampoo, conditioner, hair serum, face creams, without bulky bottles. Like, I feel like these 3 pouches essentially take up the same amount of space as one of those travel bottles. So to me, this is a no-brainer. These are coming with me on every single trip. I think it's a tiny swap that makes a big difference, especially when you're traveling carry-on only.
What she was just talking about a second ago, I would not personally buy. That's just for me. Again, my needs are different than hers. Brandon, I got my toiletry bag just to show you real quick. It looks like she's going to talk about a proper toiletry kit next. But if you look at mine, you can see that there is space in there, and I've got a lot of stuff in there. I have absolutely everything that I need in there, and there are things in there that I don't need. And when you put them sideways, they all fall upon each other. I have gotten the types before, those refillable jars and refillable tubes. I do like the refillable, like, squeezy shampoo bottles. I find those much easier to use for shampoo and conditioner and stuff than the bottles. The bottles I use for specific items, like the spritzer I might use for my hair and just put water in it, maybe use it for vinegar to deodorize the room. But basically I wouldn't go for that kind of toiletry item myself. I just buy the brands in the small sizes, toss them in my bag, and I always have room. It's got a designated spot in the bag. It all gets squished together, but for me that's not needed. And it's the same thing with my shower bag that I have, where I have the larger items. I have like 6 things in my shower bag, and there's always extra room, so I don't need the emptying room. But you might, especially if you're going on a long trip, if you're planning on going somewhere where you know you're going to be coming back with souvenirs. It is nice to have those kind of bottles that get smaller as the week goes on.
Now, those liquids need a proper home, which is why you need a solid toiletry kit. Right now, I have 2 favorite types of toiletry bags that I rotate between. The first being this one by Trip Travel Gear. I love it because it's got all kinds of compartments, tons of zippers for organization, and then it's got 2 types of liquids bags depending on how long of a trip you're going for. Something like the smaller one that detaches is great for smaller weekend getaways, or you can use the larger one, which is still TSA friendly, and it holds everything I would need for 2, 3, 4 weeks. I also like this style of bag, which has one large compartment like this, and then it still has a couple of zippered pockets as well. And because of the way it's shaped, it can either sit on the counter or be hung up. The most important feature, though, is that both of these bags hang, which is a lifesaver when you're working with a small bathroom with little to no counter space. We've all been there. And they're multi-purpose too. You can use them as your in-flight organization kit so that you don't have to bend down and reach under the seat for your items.
As you guys know, I am opinionated about absolutely everything. And I just want to point this out. If you do decide that you want to get a bag like that, it can be very convenient. What you want to do is you want to make sure that these pockets are clear, like this bottom one down here, because you're more likely to forget things if you can't see them, and you're more likely to grab stuff that you don't need. I don't do that for a very good reason. When I was a brand new flight attendant, and I'd been a flight attendant for about 2 to 3 months, I had a bag like that. All of the pockets were clear, which was fantastic. I had it all organized, and I probably had about $150 worth of Mary Kay products in that bag, because that's pretty much all I used when I first started. And it was great. Like she said, you can hang stuff, you can see everything, you can find everything really easily. The problem is the hook. Where do you hang the hook in your standard hotel? She was showing something that looked more like an Airbnb, like hanging it on the counter, which would be great. Doesn't work in a hotel. I ended up hanging it on the shower curtain rod. Sounds like a great idea, right? She also put it on a wall hook, and most of the wall hooks in hotels are the robe hook behind the door, which means when you're going and you're doing a visual sweep of the bathroom, it's not going to be directly in your eyesight. You have to remember to look at the actual shower curtain to see if it was hanging there. Are you understanding where I'm going with this? I, brand new flight attendant, in only a couple months, did the visual sweep and did not see my $150, $200 worth of Mary Kay products hanging on the shower curtain, and I left it there and never got it back. So the problem with the hook, I feel like, is yes, you can hang it up. Yes, you got a lot of visual stuff, but you are more likely to hang it on something and forget that you hung it on like the back of the door or hung it against the wall, and it's going to be out of your eyesight when you're doing that final check before you leave. One of the reasons that I like my bags to be like this is because I will dump everything out on the counter, and then as I use them, I put them back in one at a time. And then when I'm done, I zip it up and I'm ready to stash it in my bag. A zipped bag is a done bag, and generally if both my bags are zipped, they both immediately go into the suitcase, and that's when I would turn the light off in the bathroom. Even if it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm leaving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I would generally try to do that to make sure. But again, before I get ready to leave, I always flip on all the lights everywhere. So if you don't want to forget something, you might want to reconsider the hook. I think it also maybe depends on how much stuff you're traveling with, and just be aware that you are very likely to forget that in a hotel room or an Airbnb, largely because it's an unfamiliar space. It's unfamiliar territory. For me, most of the hotels I go to have the exact same layout, room after room. For me, it's easier to remember to check those things until I get to a place like an Airbnb where everything is not in sync and I know I'm going to forget stuff when we leave this place.
A pair of slippers or lightweight slides are a must pack. I don't like to wear my shoes in a hotel room, and we all know those carpets are not clean, so a pair of slippers is a must-have. Not only are they more hygienic, but after a long travel day, it's nice to take your shoes off and wear something more comfortable. And then when I get home, I just throw these in the wash, and they're clean and good to go for my next trip. I promise you, these are clean. I just pulled them out of the dryer. I just wear them all the time. Or if you have a long flight, I would bring a pair of more waterproof slippers or slides, something like these, and then you can wear them on the plane, and then when you get to your hotel, you can easily wash all the plane germs off and then wear them in your room. These ones are very light and they're very cushiony and super comfortable. They even come with a little travel bag so that you don't cross-contaminate. Another must travel bag so that you don't cross-contaminate.
These are my travel slippers, which I know is, what is that, right? They're cats. My oldest got these for me, I think from Five Below a few years ago. And what I like about these is that they're warm. Because remember, I'm traveling all year long, every month of the year, all over the US, basically, from really cold weather to really warm weather in the same day. And my feet tend to get cold. So these are really nice to have for when your feet get cold. They're also great for like when I run down to the hotel lobby. Again, machine washable. The other thing to keep in mind about what she was saying, I would recommend, if you're going to go for these flip-flops that she's showing, I would probably go more for the plastic type. And that's mostly if you know you're going to be swimming a lot. If you're running down to the pool, you're going to want something like that versus something like this. Also, one other thing, when I was younger, my dad lived on a boat from when I was about 6 years old to about 15. And whenever I would visit him, I would stay on the boat with him. And we never showered in the boat. We would go up on land to shower. They weren't exactly public showers. They were showers specifically set aside for the people that lived in boats at the harbor that he lived at. And he got, what do you call that, fungus on your feet? You know what I'm talking about? He got that once. So every time after that, he made me wear those shoes in the shower. So that can be very useful if you're going to be going to maybe an Airbnb where there are a lot of other people, or maybe it's not cleaned as often. It's nice to have shoes like that, more of the plastic kind, maybe even Crocs. So then that way your feet aren't getting hurt. Also, you might want to consider doing water slippers, because those can be quite comfortable to walk in depending on how sensitive your feet are. But if you're going to be on a trip and you're going to go to a water park or something, then having the water slippers can not only be warm and comfortable when you walk and great for the shower, but they can also be great for the pool, going into the pool, going down water slides, stuff like that. Depending on where you're going, you might want something as simple as rubber flip-flops, Crocs, water slippers. But if you're just all year round and you just want something for your bag, something simple like this. Pretty sure, like I said, my kid, I think, got these from Five Below, and I've had them for years. I still use them. They're my favorite.
Another must-have are packing cubes, especially compression cubes, and I've got a new set by the brand Epica, who I've partnered with as the sponsor of today's video. These are part of the Trip Cozy line, and they've quickly become my favorite because they zip all the way around, so they're easier to pack than the usual top-load cubes. Plus, they feature color-coded zippers. Black is for access and packing, whereas white is for the compression feature, so you never get mixed up. And there's a couple more features that I absolutely love. They're made with this antibacterial inner liner, and each cube has a mesh top, so you can see everything you've packed, but that also helps them breathe so that everything stays fresh. To me, this is really important because sometimes I use packing cubes for different outfits or segments of my trip, which means some cubes might stay packed or unopened for several days until I actually need them. So this helps prevent things from getting all stuffy or musty, especially if you're traveling somewhere humid. They come in either a set of 4 cubes or 6 cubes, and I love these beautiful earthy tone colors. And I love that they have different sizes because that allows you to play around with different configurations that you might need for different trips. If you want to grab yourself a set of these, you'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code.
I've mentioned before, for me, I don't really travel with compression bags. That's because I don't really need them. Some people have actually brought me around to their way of thinking, so I am willing to try it. I think it's a really good idea after listening to some of you guys in the comments about your different travel experiences. I've always believed that you should take at least 1 to 2 outfits in your carry-on bag. Especially you want to take your medication, your car keys, your passport. Like that should always be on you in the plane, so that might go in a backpack versus a 20-inch rollerboard. But somebody had said something about doing a compression bag and putting your change of clothes or 2 in your carry-on with the compression bag. I think that's a great idea. It is going to make the bag heavier, not because the compression bag is heavy, but because you're going to fit more clothes in there and then they're going to be squished tight. So keep that in mind, because carrying a couple extra compression items in a backpack could hurt your back more versus if you were dragging along an under the seat roller bag. If you need to put it in the overhead, keep that in mind. Anytime you use compression bags, it's going to make your bag heavier because you're essentially getting more clothes into that bag. Some people like to use the compression bags as laundry bags. For me, a simple trash bag that I can grab from anywhere, that's generally what I will use if I have dirty clothes. Although my bag has multiple compartments, so I just move them from one compartment to another. And then I also use a system where when my clothes are clean, I put them in like regular with the t-shirts out and everything. And then once I wear them, I flip them inside out and then stick them into a part of my bag. So then that way I know later on, oh, that's inside out. I've already worn that. And that helps me keep everything separate without the compression bags. I wouldn't use them for the way that I travel because my trips are 4 days at a time, up to 6 days at a time, and she's going on longer trips than I am. So I think those ones are excellent. Out of all of the travel gurus that I've seen so far, I think those are the ones that I would probably want to try, though, if I were to try compression bags.
Speaking of clothes, I would definitely invest in a few high-quality pieces of clothing, ones that travel really well. I talk about merino wool clothing a lot because it's breathable, it packs down flat, it doesn't hold odor, which means you don't have to wash merino wool as much as regular clothes. So with merino wool, you don't have to pack nearly as much as you think. Honestly, you could get away with packing 3 t-shirts for a trip that could be 3 weeks long, and you just rotate them. Because when you do need to wash them, it takes 5 or 10 minutes in the sink and they dry within just a few hours. I just made a video about how to easily wash your clothes in your hotel sink if you need some tips on how to do that. And I know it's definitely an investment, but I personally love the Canadian brand Unbound Merino. And even if you look at some of the cheaper options on Amazon, you'll notice it's still not an inexpensive fabric. So I do think it's worth it if you want to pack less and still look pulled together, travel minimally, and have to do the least amount of laundry on the road. By the way, all the links to everything in this video are linked down below, or you can scan the QR code and that will bring you to my blog post where I've got everything listed out and a lot easier to read than in the video description.
Okay, this is probably a dick move to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Unbound Merino is what she's got. I've noticed quite a few travel gurus are talking about Unbound Merino, when I've looked at their product, I feel like it's expensive. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I feel like investing in expensive clothes for travel is not necessarily worth it, because travel clothes generally always get destroyed. Not only do they get destroyed, but if you lose it, you're going to feel worse about losing expensive clothes or destroying expensive clothes or getting expensive clothes dirty versus cheaper clothes. For me, my go-to is basically I go to Kohl's and I grab the tech gear stuff. I like the workout stuff just because the workout stuff, a lot of times it wicks away extra heat. It's very durable. It's made for exercising. It can keep you warm. Here we go on Amazon. Merino.tech, 4.4 stars. Merino Protect, 4.3, 4.5. It seems like people like the products. You're looking at $40, $50 an outfit. That's not bad. The stuff that I get is definitely less than that because I'm cheap. My mom likes to say I'm frugal, and I keep telling her I'm not frugal. I'm just cheap. And part of that is, like I said, because I know the clothes are going to get dirty. Now, look, on the website, you're looking at $95 for a t-shirt. See, and if I spent $95 or $108, $158 on a shirt, and then, like, I live by the rule of the white shirt. As soon as I put a white shirt on, guaranteed I'm going to spill coffee on it. Guaranteed I'm going to get coffee or soda or something all over my boobs, because that's what happens every time I put on a white shirt. And that white shirt is $108. So for me, I'm not classy. Like, I dress casual. It's up to you if you want to spend that. My 2 cents is go cheaper. Go hit up your workout section at your local department store, at your Kohl's, at your Target, at whatever, because I feel like exercise clothes are generally the best for a lot of different types of weather.
For electronics, you want something that can charge multiple things at once, and if you're traveling internationally, you'll likely need a travel adapter. For this, I would choose a universal travel adapter. I like this one, which is the Pulse 45 watt, also by the brand Epica, which is the #1 travel adapter brand on. I like it because it now replaces having to pack a charger and a separate travel adapter. And this can be used worldwide in over 200 countries and regions. You just slide the pin depending which outlet style you need. For example, if you're traveling to multiple countries on one trip, like next year I'm going to Portugal and Ireland on the same trip, which each use different sockets, this is the only travel adapter that I'll need. It's not a voltage converter though, so be sure to check your devices and make sure that they support dual voltage before you use them. But even if you're traveling somewhere where you don't need the adapter, it's still a handy charging station because it's got 2 USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, and the main socket that accepts 10 types of plugs, and it's rapid charging. I'm headed to Japan soon, and even though they use the same outlets that we have here at home, I'll probably just bring this, maybe even when I go to Mexico as well. So the link to this Epica Pulse 45 watt travel adapter is in the description, or you can scan the QR code as well.
I would think that adapter would be great for if you're going internationally. Something like that is fantastic. I saw on the thing, she said $25. Not a bad price. I think you can get them at Target for $10. Let me put that up real quick. While it's looking for that, let me show you what I use. I'm gonna move the camera. Hope you don't get motion sick. That is what I use right there. Basically, as you can see, that has 8 different plugs. Now you may be thinking, why do you need 8 different plugs? For me, I travel with lots of things that need to be charged. My work tablet, my iPad, my phone, my glasses, because I travel with smart glasses. But I also want the extra plugs for things like my Fire Stick, so then that way I can still charge stuff while watching TV. Sometimes I will use it for like backup batteries. I might want to charge those for people that might want to use them on the plane, because I don't necessarily use them. But I've also got like my watch on there. She had a lot of that same stuff. So if you're looking for a power adapter, make sure you're looking for, think about everything that you're going to be not only charging while you're traveling, but things that you might want to be using at the same time as you're charging something. Like one of those plugs is actually powering my computer, which is recording right now, my travel computer. For me, I would do a minimum of 6 plugs, but as you can see, that was 8. I'm on the Target website. I just punched in universal power adapter, and just so you get an idea, look, here's one for $14.99. Here's one for $24.99. Here's one for $18.99. Travel adapter international. This just gives you an idea on prices if you're thinking that you want to try different things out. A lot of them have different pop-outs like she showed. But the one that she showed you was actually a pretty good price. So I would even consider that one. This kind of looked like the one that she was looking at, didn't it? As you can see on the Target website, it's $27.99. It's got the 4 that she was showing. But just letting you know, Amazon is a great place to get it. And what I like about Amazon is you get the reviews. But if you're in a hurry, you can just pop down to a Target and grab one.
A power bank is a non-negotiable for me. Nothing stresses me out like seeing 2% battery left on my phone when I'm out exploring. When I'm out sightseeing all day, I use my phone for taking videos and photos, but also for checking Google Maps and maybe researching restaurant reviews, so you never want to be without battery. But even at the airport or on the plane, because you also never know if there's going to be a working outlet when you need one. But my pro tip for you, though, is to bring a short charging cord so that when you sit down at a restaurant or a cafe, you're not wrangling a spaghetti-length cable or taking up valuable purse or backpack space.
I pretty much agree with what she's saying on that, because there's still a lot of planes out there, smaller planes especially, that don't have power outlets. And a lot of times those power outlets are broken. And it does help to have that power bank readily accessible, especially if you're traveling somewhere on vacation. Because if you're on vacation, you're going to be out all day long. Especially if you're in a foreign country and you forgot your universal charger. It is nice to have actually that power bank as a backup. Nowadays, you can get them as thin as credit cards, which I really like. Some have the cable built in, like super short cables, which is really nice. I have one that's probably 6 inches or so on there. And that's largely because on my charging station there, I will have it on the desk. And instead of having the long ones all over the place, it's nice to be able to stick it into a short one right on the desk right there. I do have long cables in my charging station as well, largely because if I'm doing the Fire Stick, I want it to reach from where it's charging all the way to the TV.
I will also always pack noise-canceling earbuds. This would be instead of the over-ear headphones. Remember, this video is about if I could only bring a small number of travel must-haves, so I would go with the earbuds because you're always going to have room for this little case. On a long flight, I'll be honest, headphones are preferable, but then you are lugging them around for the rest of your trip. Whereas with earbuds, they take up virtually no space, and then you can also use them to read out Google Maps directions as you're walking in a foreign city in case you don't want to look like a tourist or have your phone out for safety reasons.
I don't think my earbuds are noise-canceling earbuds. Here's something to consider that I've recently learned. I know a while ago I promised a lot of you guys a sleep video, and I didn't produce it because I came across some research that I wanted to test, and I've tested it. And one of those things is about a thing called brown noise. For a lot of people, especially people with ADHD, brown noise is a great way to quiet the mind, the monkey mind, to help you sleep. And it's actually quite funny. As a flight attendant, I can work a plane just fine. Pilots too. We work a plane, no problem. We sit in the jump seat, we can stay awake. But as soon as you stick us in a passenger seat, we're out like a light. And I was thinking, why does that keep happening to us? Why do we all fall asleep so fast when we are riding as passengers? Before, when I was going to make the video, I knew about white noise. It's the most commonly spoken about noise, which is like the static that you hear. Air conditioners, TV static, stuff like that to help distract you and drown out other noises so that you can sleep. I didn't know there were other colors of noise until I recently started researching it, and I came across this ADHD tip about other types of noise: blue noise, green noise, purple noise, pink noise. Apparently no noise is called black noise. I always thought that I had to sleep in a room with black noise. So noise canceling headphones would be great if they could actually completely delete the noise that you're hearing. But brown noise is actually the sound of a plane engine, and it's actually incredibly soothing. But the difference is the decibels, like how high or low the decibels is. I noticed that when I was doing my research, that white noise kind of has a higher decibel than some of the other noises. Whereas if you get a plain noise and you bring the decibels down into a quieter range, it's easier to fall asleep. So if noise canceling headphones can drown out the noise completely, fantastic. I haven't found a set that does it yet, but if it brings the volume down to a brown noise, which could be any set of earbuds, that can actually help you sleep better on a plane. And so That's what I realized is pilots and flight attendants, the first thing that we do when we are riding as a passenger is we stick earbuds in our ears. Most of us don't travel around with big headsets. The pilots travel around with big headsets because they need them for work, but they don't wear them when they're passengers. They wear earbuds. And part of the reason that we stick the earbuds in immediately is so that we don't have to talk to people, which I know sounds like a jerk thing to do, but if you're going all day long and you're talking to passengers all day long, people ask us questions all the time, especially if we don't have our earbuds in. So the first thing we do is we stick those earbuds in. And one of the great things about traveling with earbuds is that it creates a pressure seal in your ears, especially if you change to the right size tips. What that does is, since it seals around your ears, when you ascend and when you descend on the flights, your ears aren't going to pop nearly as badly as if you took off and landed without them. So I've often said before, if you have kids, you want to get the big ones that go around the ears because that creates a pressure seal as well. But just little tiny earbuds are perfect for that. And I always travel with a little case with a keychain that hooks right onto my lanyard because I wear a lanyard for work. I recommend something like that if you're going to get earbuds. If you want noise canceling, if it completely blocks all noise, you might not be able to sleep, because if you're anywhere on the spectrum for ADHD, your monkey mind still might be going and not allowing you to sleep. And yet having some of the noise come through with just a regular set of earbuds could create brown noise, which could quiet your mind, which could allow you to sleep better, especially if you're on a longer trip.
Next is my travel blanket scarf, which can be used in so many scenarios. Something like this is so great because it's big enough that it can be used as a blanket on the plane. Honestly, y'all know there's nothing more uncomfortable than being cold all flight long, but it can also be worn as a shawl, like a scarf, a cardigan. Great to have with you on cool days or cool evenings. This is such a great piece to have to help you pack a little bit lighter because it essentially replaces one cardigan or a light sweater, and you can just wear it onto the plane as a scarf, so it's not going to count as an extra item. It's just part of your wardrobe. You don't have to pack it in your bag, so that leaves you room for extra things.
All I really have to say about that is that I wouldn't wear one. For me, that would catch up on too many things, and I think a lot of guys wouldn't wear them. I don't wear shawls or really even scarves. I would instead grab a workout jacket from the workout section because those are usually good at adding extra heat. I would grab cuddle duds or a sweatshirt, something like that. A lot of people like sweatshirts because if it has a hood, you can pull it over and it does double duty of darkening things to help you sleep on a plane. But you definitely want something as an outer layer. If you really want a pashmina or a shawl like that, you can usually find those at the airport for, I believe they're around $15 now. I've seen them for 10, I've seen them for 20. They're like bundled about that big. And they're not bad. I remember when I was new and I used to fly the 145 all the time, which was the smaller plane, people would ask me for blankets and I would carry that with me and I would hand it out and I would wash it after every trip. And I had 2 or 3 that I was carrying with me all the time to help people stay warmer. Until somebody, a gate agent, said that could get lice. And then after that, I was like, done. So if you leave that anywhere at the airport, it's just going to get thrown away. But if you want one of those, $10 to $20 at the airport, maybe not the smaller airports, but anywhere where there's a Hudson's News, they have those. And they're great to get, especially before you get on a larger plane. The larger planes are always the coldest planes. So you might want something like that for a larger plane, especially if you're flying international. But again, are you actually going to wear it? That's all I'm saying.
And speaking of comfort on a plane, I'm going to say that my airplane pillow makes the cut on this list. Travel pillows are pretty divisive among the travel community, but this is the only type of pillow that has truly ever allowed me to sleep for hours at a time on a plane, even long road trips. I swear by this thing, I've used it on so many flights. I think if you hear someone call this gimmicky, they honestly haven't tried it. It attaches to the folding flaps of the headrest so it doesn't impact the person behind you. And with the eye mask, it stabilizes your neck and keeps you from head bobbing. But you can also use it to lean to the side without sleeping on your neighbor as well. Everyone sleeps differently, so it may or may not work for you, but if you're curious, it's only about $20, so you might as well try it if every other type of pillow hasn't worked for you. It does take up a little bit of room, but honestly, It packs down super flat. You can put it at the bottom of your bag or on the sides, and you'll barely notice it. I will say though that this one is flight dependent for me. I usually only pack it on flights that are more than 3.5 hours. Anything less than that, I probably won't bother trying to get some sleep, and I'll just read or watch movies instead. So that's my core list. What's the one travel essential you refuse to leave home without? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to see if yours makes my list for next time. Thank you once again to Epica for supporting the channel. Check out their products in the links below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Okay, for that last one, I feel like I've tried something like that before and I couldn't stand having my head strapped to a seat. So for me, that wouldn't make the cut. I think that's incredibly dependent on who you are as a person, whether that last one worked for you or not. If you think you can sleep with your head stuck in one position, go for it. For me, I do the head flop, but I also use the stuffable pillows just because I can make that as soft or as thick, as hard as I want by shoving as many clothes as I can in there or taking clothes out. And I can do it like just as a log over the shoulder. I can wrap it all the way around. You can do it under the chin. Having said that, let's talk about what are the things that I need to take with me on every trip. My must-haves for travel. I don't have all of them with me right now, but there are certain things that I always grab. Sometimes I have just an overnight trip. Sometimes I have a 6-day trip. And I have different size bags for how long that I know I'm good for. As a flight attendant, I bid for reserve. When you bid for reserve, you're on call and you basically have 2 hours to show up at the airport. You don't know where you're going or how long you're going to be gone for. You just know how many days you're available for. So if it's at the beginning of a 6-day week, then I will grab what I call my 4-day bag, because I know that I can often finagle it to somehow get home during that 6 days, but I have enough outfits in there to get me through 4 days easily, and then I can always hand wash some of the clothes that I travel with. But if it's day 4 of a 6-day week, then I'm going to grab my overnight backpack, and there are certain things that I travel with in all of them. One of them is my makeup bag, the dry items, and then I will also grab my wet items bags, and I will shove those into any bag that I take with me, just because I know I'm going to have to do my makeup, and I always want to use my own skincare products. While I am staying at hotels all the time and they all have different skincare products, I like my toothpaste. I like my skincare stuff. I've been in hotels where the shampoo smelled incredibly nasty. It was like a really good shampoo, but I just hated the smell of it. And so I don't want to get stuck with the smell of something that I don't like. So always my 2 toiletry bags go in. The second item is that charger that I showed you earlier. That goes in every bag. And having all of those cables of different sizes for the different things that I charge, I just wrap it around the cable box, shove it in there. It's ready to go. Another thing that she didn't talk about was my iPad. I just found this today. Like, the movers, when they move the stuff, I had set this aside because I use this every single day, whether at home or on the road. And we moved 10 days ago. One of the movers grabbed it, tossed it in a box, and shoved it in the back of the garage. So for the last 10 days, I did not know where this was. And that was driving me crazy. But basically, what I travel with, this is very specific. My iPad, I like the Magic Keyboard. And the reason I like the Magic Keyboard is because it just comes off very easy. When you charge it, you can charge it through the Magic Keyboard here, or you can charge it directly into the iPad. I like to charge it in the Magic Keyboard because sometimes, like at night, if I'm watching TV and I'm in the middle of something but I'm falling asleep, I might want to take it with me to the bathroom. Instead of unplugging it, I can just grab this, take it with me. Sometimes you just don't want to hit pause. So I know that may sound gross, but you never know what you're going to grab it for and take it with you while you have it on the charging plug. And there have been times I picked it up and started to walk away with it and the plug was in here and it would rip at the iPad. The other thing that I do is I put a paper texture, screen protector on this, because then this feels like paper. And part of the reason I do that is because it makes it more like a journal. With the Apple Pencil, which I take with me everywhere, this, I don't have to worry about making my fingers feel gross from the paper texture, but I can do an actual signature on this. So this becomes a work product for me. Like, I will take this before I will take my computer or laptop or anything else. I have to bid every day for work, so having the keyboard is great because it's really hard to bid for my trips on a phone. I need to type out very complex codes for our bidding. So having the keyboard, having the pencil, having the paper texture, screen protector gives me more options with this. I can use this as a journal. I can use it as a drawing book. I like to do sketches, especially because I'm thinking about the new house. If I take notes, if I take pictures, if I watch movies. One of the really nice things about the iPad is for crew, they always put us on the top floors as far away from the elevators as they can put us, because then we're less likely to be disturbed by other people that are staying in the hotel. And so we're usually in the range of where the Wi-Fi signal is the weakest. And for some reason, the Apple products can pick up a really weak Wi-Fi signal when my phone can't or my laptop can't. And I've done that in hotels all across America and Canada. But another nice thing about this is, like, when you travel around the world, there are other tablets and laptops where you try to access your stuff, your Netflix account, your Disney Plus account, Hulu, and you can't do it because you're in another country, and then you get blocked from that country from being able to access your stuff. I've never had a problem with that with Apple. Like back in 2011, before I was a flight attendant, my family and I did a trip around the world, and we had Apple products. And with all the Apple products, we were able to access our library. We were able to still download videos from America at our rate, but I couldn't do it on my laptop. So I have found that the Apple is one of the best things you can travel with when you go internationally, because no matter where you are, it thinks you're still in America, and it will still allow you to access things that, like your Fire Stick, might not allow you to access. My clothes, I always, like I said, I go for cheaper clothes that are more cottony and don't wrinkle. Something that will dry quickly if I get it wet. And my shoes, the shoes that I always travel with, are slip-on Skechers shoes that look like work shoes, but they have sneaker soles to them. They have no ties. And the nice thing about those is I can run in those. I can work a plane in those. I can wear them down to the pool. I don't wear them into the pool, but they're slip-ons, so they're easy for when I'm just chilling in the hotel room and I need to run down to the lobby if I don't have my slippers with me. Also, on my lanyard, I always have those earbuds because I never know when I'm going to be deadheading as a passenger, so it's always nice to have those. I carry those with me on my lanyard at all times. I also carry my Echo frames, which are the Alexa glasses. And I wear those more when I travel than when I'm at home. Those make every trip with me because of the fact that when I travel with them, I can set timers. I can watch my shows and not have something in my ear. It's very rare that somebody sitting next to me on the plane can actually hear what I'm hearing when I'm watching it on the plane. It's only people with really good hearing that'll be like, hey, I can hear what you're listening. Can you put your earbuds in? So that's why it's nice to have the earbuds as well as the Alexa glasses. But like I use them when I go on walks, and I'll listen to music when I'm walking to places near me. I'll ask for the outdoor temperature. I'll set timers. I'll use it when I'm stretching, and I'll have my Echo frames set timers for me when I'm stretching in the hotel rooms. I use them for absolutely everything. I use them to make announcements in my house. I use them to change the thermostat in my house and mess with the kids and my husband and just all kinds of things. So those are the things that make every single trip, no matter what. Those are the things that I would highly recommend that you always make sure to pack with you. And yeah, those are my must-haves. Okay guys, so here are the winners of the last giveaway that I did. I apologize for not posting this sooner. The last couple weeks have been crazy. Now, before I tell you about that, let me just say, when it comes to the giveaway, I have a lot of people that have not claimed their prize yet. So if you want to know if you've won before or not, you can go to my website, faguides.com/winners. And every week, that's where I will post the winners of not only the weekly giveaways, but the gimme passes and what I call the honorable mention awards. And at the very bottom, it says how to contact me so that you can claim your reward. So make sure you go there and double check. I was trying to contact people, but nobody's responding. So I don't think they have their comments turned on. So again, go to this website, see if your YouTube account is on there, and then go to the bottom to see how you can claim your reward. Also, here is this week's Gimme Pass winner. Thank you for being super active in my comments. I see all the things you say, and I truly appreciate you helping me spread joy in the community. Does that sound corny? I feel like that sounds corny. But seriously, thank you. Okay, so are you guys ready for the craziness that has become my life? I apologize so much for not getting videos out for the last, I think it's been like 10 days at least, maybe 2 weeks. Closed on the house finally. We were staying in the house for another 10 days. Thought my relationship with the buyer was going really well. That has turned sour, and now there's like lawyers involved and everything else, even though we've now officially moved out. Long story. But the new house failed inspections. We cannot live in it, so we are living in an Airbnb right now. We don't have any of our stuff. We're here for about a month, and then we're probably going to switch to another Airbnb because I picked one that was way too far from our new house. My kids are loving it because we're closer to downtown Chicago and there's so much stuff for them to walk to. I'm hating it because I hate the traffic around this place. I am more of the suburbs type. How about you guys? But anyway, failed inspections basically. There's not one, not two, not three, but 5 broken pipes in the basement. Right? Something about a shark tooth connection and they all blew. On top of that, I found out why the room was moldy in the one room that we got. Turns out that last summer, when the house was empty and in foreclosure, a pipe upstairs burst and water was pouring from the upstairs bathroom down the stairs, down through the kitchen, into the basement, and down the back wall, which is how that whole room got moldy, which was kind of relief because I thought it was like long-term shower damage since the room underneath the shower is the one that got damaged. But I guess they closed that off, and then sometime after that, 5 pipes burst, but the water was turned off by then. So yeah, I'm dealing with trying to find a plumber. On top of that, the water heater's not hooked up. The furnace isn't working. I just got the roof repaired today, and the yard was crazy. I have 2 storage units, one that's hot storage, one that's cold storage. They're not completely full up, but the movers, when they came, was a crazy day because at 10 a.m. the power went out and the movers weren't coming till 2 o'clock. And I thought maybe I had shut the power down early and I didn't remember, but no, it just went out for 4 hours. And it was 30 degrees that day, and the house got colder and colder. And by the time the movers showed up, it was 50 degrees in the house. And you would think that we would leave, but the kids didn't want to go anywhere because it was the last day in our house. My youngest has spent a third of his life living at that house. So they wanted to stay there. And then when the movers showed up, it was 2 movers, and they were shocked that they were moving a whole house. They didn't know. So the next thing you know, they called in reinforcements in a second truck, and then suddenly there were like 8 people in my house. And they got everything moved out in an hour and a half, which was insane. And then we went to the new house, and most of them disappeared, and then we were just left with 4. I don't know why they did what they did, but they took all of our small stuff, like our clothes and stuff like that, and they shoved it in the back of the garage and then dropped all of the big furniture in front of it. So like all of my clothes and my iPad and my computer and everything else that I needed was in the back of the garage, and I couldn't get to it. I got sick from moving day, so I was sick for that first weekend, which is why I missed the first Sunday. Yeah. So when the inspector came, he failed us hard, and they won't turn on the water until we get the pipes fixed, which I think is happening next weekend. But they also won't turn on the water until they pass us for inspection. And then you want to hear some crazy stuff about the new city that I've moved to. Here in Chicago, there's more than 70 boroughs, like different towns all smashed together for Chicagoland. And each town has its own set of rules. Every town here has its own codes. So check out the craziness of my new town where I'm going to be living. They told me I'm not even allowed to paint in my house because I pulled out the carpet in one of the rooms, the dirty, gross carpet. Because I pulled up the carpet, I am not allowed to paint in the house unless I get a permit. But I'm not allowed to get a permit until I've lived there 6 months. But I can't move in there until I make all of the changes that they require that I make. And the only way to do that is to get a permit, which I can't get till I live there for 6 months. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? They're like, you have to hire contractors to do all of the work that we want you to do. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's going to be so expensive. I can't afford that. And then they said, you can just get a general contractor's license. And then you can get a permit so that you can paint and do the stuff that you know how to do within the house. So I am now licensed and bonded as a general contractor. And the next thing I had to do is just get the permit. So yeah, it's been crazy. That's why I haven't posted in the last 2 weeks. Every single day is some new person to meet. It's some new craziness. I've got the kitchen ripped out. I've got the mold ripped out of the walls. The carpet's gone. When I moved to the new house, it had so much junk in it. I called 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they came and they filled up an entire truck and hauled it away in 2.5 hours, 2 workers, and they charged me $799. The dumpster that I had gotten in my other house was $725 with the permit. And so as a result, I basically got 2 workers to clean this entire garage out for an extra $75. So worth it. And then I called them to come back a second time, and they charged me less and still filled up the whole truck because I was like a second time user. And they said the next time I call, they're going to give me even more money off, which I'm going to be calling them soon. So I'm telling you, if you ever have a bunch of crap that you think that you need to fill a dumpster with, call 1-800-GOT-JUNK first. You might be amazed. Like, they'll come and they'll give you a quote and they'll show you their price list. It started at $500 in Chicago and went up to $799 for a full truck. And they do all the work. So it might be even less in your area. I'm just saying. Check it out. But anyway, grab your remote, guys, because it's about that time. We're going to wrap this up. Again, this is Aly Smalls. I think she's amazing. I think you need to follow her if you haven't already. I absolutely adore her. If you guys like this video, let me know by hitting the like button. That does help me promote the video, as well as hitting the hype button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed, because I'm trying for 10,000 now. Why not? Let's get there, right? And then also, since I am very irregular with posting right now because I am doing construction on the house at the same time, hit the notification bell so that way you know when the next video comes out, because generally you will have 24 hours from that next video to come out to take part in whatever the giveaway is. And having said that, guys, I'm going to be moving the posting times from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Sundays, which will give you till 9 p.m. the next night to get in on all of the giveaways and stuff. Also, don't forget to ask me questions in the comments below. If you want to be in the giveaway, you have to answer to the pinned comment below for the pineapple this week. Did you see it? Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you hopefully in Sunday's video. Ciao.